This is part one of a series of videos on constructing my Three Nite P-30 model. This is a rubber-powered free flight model, and I'm hoping that this series of construction videos will help new flyers, beginners, and even experienced flyers build this model and have fun flying it. I originally designed this P-30 model in 2020 with the intent that it would be easier to build than any other P-30 model. Since then, it's proved to be very competitive against even high-tech models. To review, the P-30 is an event that was first developed in the 1970s by the San Diego Orbiteers Free Flight Club. Eventually, it became very popular worldwide. The rules for this event are quite simple, and they have been adopted by the Academy of Model Aeronautics, otherwise known as the AMA. Before I proceed to summarize the P-30 rules, let me just say that this series of videos is going to be done exclusively with still pictures. I'm somewhat of a novice at making videos that are posted online, and this was the easiest format to use. I'm going to be giving an audible description of the pictures, and there will be no subtitles. For those who are interested, I'm using the free cam video software that you can download for free on the internet. If you do a search on the internet, you can easily find the rules for the P-30 event, but they're pretty simple. No part of the model can exceed 30 inches when fully assembled. The minimum weight of the model is 40 grams. The maximum weight of the rubber motor with lubricant is 10 grams. The propeller must be a commercially available plastic propeller. It must be freewheeling. It can't fold. And it must be approximately 9.5 inches in diameter, although there is a range from 9.05 to 9.84 inches. I'm sure you probably can't read these rules on this video. They're a little too small in the print form, but you can find them on the internet rather easily. So a maximum flight of an official flight is 120 seconds. There are 3 official flights. If the contestants are tied after 3 official flights, they up the maximum flight time by 30 seconds in each additional round. So, for example, if 3 flyers were tied at the end of 3 official flights, they would all have to make 150 seconds on the next round in order to be in the running, so to speak. So here's a picture of the second Three Nite P-30 that I built. After I designed this model, I built one prototype from scratch, and luckily for me, I got George Bredehoff from Volare Products interested in kitting this design, and he has since put out a marvelous laser cut kit for this model, which is very easy to assemble. It includes instructions. I'll discuss those in a minute. George did a wonderful job. He's really experienced not only in producing kits, but also in building and flying airplanes himself. Here is a picture of the original prototype I scratch built for this design. You can see it's very similar, if not identical, to the laser cut version that can be built from the Volare Products short kit. There are a few minor changes which had to do with laser cutting and so forth, but this prototype proved the concept. This is a picture of the very first Three Nite P-30 that I built from the original production of the Volare Products short kit. This was to see if the kit would go together as planned, and it certainly did. This is me flying in Washoe Lake, Nevada, near where I live at Lake Tahoe, and you can see that it's kind of dry in the back there. I'm probably flying in the summer. And I took this model off for a few trim flights. It did have a DT, and well, I lost it. It flew out of sight. My wife and I searched for quite a while. We never found it. So going back to the third Three Nite P-30 I built, this is the red and yellow one in the picture. You'll notice that it is different than every P-30 that was published or kitted before it was developed. The main difference is that it has a flat wing. It has no angular dihedral in the wing. Every free flight model needs some form of dihedral to maintain roll stability, that is, stability around the longitudinal axis of the fuselage. In this case, the flat wing has tip plates, sometimes known as winglets, and these provide effective dihedral. And the reason for this is that I wanted a P-30 that was easy to build, and so this wing is easy to build in one flat section, and you don't have to set any dihedral angles. You'll notice that the stabilizer has twin fins. That's just, again, for ease of building. You just glue the fins to the ends of the stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer. The twin fins provide yaw stability. Sometimes we put a tiny shim or angled section on the rear of one of the fins to give some rudder control, and we'll talk about that later. I wanted the wing of this P-30 and the horizontal stab be easy to build, so I chose a airfoil with a flat underside. In my experience, yes, a very thin airfoil with undercamber can be more efficient, but it's much more difficult to build a wing with undercamber, and it's much more difficult to cover it. I found that the particular flat underside airfoil I used was called the Nielmeyer airfoil. There are many, many, many different airfoil designs or shapes that have been developed over decades and tested. Most of them have been tested for high wind speeds for actual aircraft. The Nielmeyer airfoil that I chose, I simply did some quick research and found that one of the really experienced modelers in free flight modeling over the years had enjoyed success with this airfoil. So I thought if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for the Three Nite P-30. So this is a picture of the bones of the Three Nite P-30. I'm not sure which version this is or which edition this is. I think I've built 5 different Three Nite P-30 models. When we say bones, we're referring to the balsa wood framework and this is a good illustration of the components of the Volare Products short kit. This picture shows the Volare Products short kit on the bottom and the Gizmo Geezer propeller that you can buy from Volare Products. Also, you can see in the middle where the rubber band is, that's the additional parts pack, which I highly recommend. When you buy this kit from Volare Products, you will get the components that I'll show in the next picture. So when you open up these bags, you'll get the propellers on the far left. It's still in its bag. And all these parts are laid out on top of the plan, which I think it's a full-size plan for the airplane. It measures about 32 inches by 13 inches, as I recall. You'll get a set of building instructions in print in the middle there, written by me. And there's this additional parts pack with the rubber band in it. You have a couple of dowels, a aluminum motor peg, and importantly, a plastic washer for supporting the Gizmo Geezer prop on the nose block. Then you get 5 sheets of laser cut wood. And again, you do not get the stick wood. As many of you probably know, you can go to your hobby store, if it still exists, or a craft store and buy stick balsa wood. But you can also strip your sticks from sheet balsa wood, which typically comes in 3-inch by 36-inch sticks. Here I'm showing the Master Air Screw balsa stripper, which is readily available on Amazon, I believe. And it's a handheld device that you set the width of that X-Acto blade, and you slide this along the edge of the sheet to get the sticks that you want. Here's another photograph showing me in the process of stripping sticks for the build that I'm going to document in this series of videos. This picture shows the sticks that you'll need to either purchase or strip yourself. Essentially, they're all 36 inches long. There are 2 sticks that are 3/32 inch square. There are 3 sticks that are each 1/16 inch square. There are 2 sticks which are 1/4 inch by 1/16 inch. And finally, there are 2 sticks which are 1/8 inch by 1/16 inch. These sticks are used for the leading edge, the trailing edge, and the spars of the wing and the horizontal stabilizer. Again, this will all be discussed in greater detail in the follow-up videos. Here is the plan. Actually, it's being cut off on the ends by the video software. But anyway, you can see the basic structure here, and we'll go over this in great detail in the follow-up videos. Here's another picture of me at Washoe Lake. It's in the springtime, you can see by all the green grass and the snow on the mountains. I'm flying my 4th Three Nite P-30 I built, which had mylar covering on the wings. That's a plastic film, which I don't recommend for beginners, but it does have some advantages in that it is moisture proof. This particular P-30 had an electronic DT, and it had a locator. Unfortunately, the locator has an RF beacon which you pick up by a radio directional antenna. Unfortunately, it landed in some huge shrubs, flew into the bottom of them, and the barbed wire fence picked up the signal from the transmitter and re-radiated it 360 degrees, so I was unable to find it. But that's part of this hobby. You do lose models from time to time. This happens to be the first model I've ever lost with a radio locator on it. Let me conclude this video with a discussion of the name for my P-30. A long time ago, there was a company called Peck Polymers in the San Diego area, and for decades they sold kits and parts for rubber-powered free-flight airplanes, and one of their biggest sellers was the One Nite 28, which is pictured in this picture I'm showing right now. It wasn't originally designed for the P-30 event, but it did meet the qualifications of the P-30 event. This model is shown with the landing gear left off, and actually, even though it only had a 28-inch wingspan, it was a good flyer. Unfortunately, Peck Polymers was eventually acquired by another outfit called Wind Up Enterprises, and at one time it did offer this kit, but it always seems to be out of stock. Um, it's a nice kit, but I don't think you could build it in one night. And in addition, they changed it, the name of the kit to almost uh, 30 or almost P-30, I think is the new name, and they've abandoned the old one night 28. So my kit is pretty easy to build. If an experienced builder could build it in 3 nights, and that's why I use the suggestive name Three Nite P-30. So here is a picture of my new beginning P-30. I just wanted to show you something that is far, far more complex to build. It has a very thin undercambered wing with very thin ribs. It has a tubular carbon fiber spar in the wing. The wing has a polyhedral, that is multiple segments that extend at a different angle. It has a rolled balsa wood tube fuselage, a rolled balsa wood tube tapered tail boom. It has, um, you can't see this necessarily, but it has a DT that consists of a tilt-up wing and a tilt-up stab. In some conditions, thermals are so strong that a P-30 will fly away if it doesn't have both a pop-up wing and a pop-up stab. So this is a much more complex P-30 to build. And quite honestly, the performance is not that much better than my Three Nite P-30, which is far simpler to build. This picture shows me launching my third Three Nite P-30 in a contest. There were 13 very experienced flyers, and I think 5 ended up making it into a fly-off, and I won, I think, the third or fourth level of the fly-off. I think I had almost a 5-minute flight. This picture is a little fuzzy, but you can see that there's some dry mountains in the background, but this is an enlargement of a picture that was taken on one of my official flights in that contest that I just mentioned. So in the follow-up videos, I'm going to discuss the tools and adhesives and building board that you need to have, the manner of construction of the fuselage, the wing, and the stabilizer, how to cover those with tissue. Um, I think I mentioned the fuselage. We'll build that as well. And then I'll give you some instruction on how to build the nose block, install the prop, and I'll mention some aspects of DT, or what we call dethermalizer. For the novice sake, these free flight airplanes, if they get caught in a thermal, which is an uprising column of warm air, they will fly away and you'll never see them again sometimes. And so the dethermalizer we use is a stab or stabilizer which tilts up about 45 degrees, the horizontal stabilizer. And in most cases, the airplane will come down very gently in a horizontal orientation. So that concludes this video. I hope you stick with me and watch the follow-up videos. Thank you very much.